Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SnA Podcast with the 3am football fans. My man Anirudh with me as always. And then today we have something special to bring you. We have a guest on our show today. This is uh, my buddy Nisarg. I've known the guy years and years. One of my best friends. Nisarg, thank you for being here today. We're going
Hey,
to
thank you guys.
def
Thank you for
well,
having me.
yeah,
Oh,
for sure,
our
man.
pleasure, our pleasure. And
Our
it's,
pleasure.
our first ever guest on the show. So welcome, Nisarg. Pretty happy to have you here.
Yes,
Thank
thank you, Nusart, for coming on. So we have some interesting things to talk about today, and it's been an eventful few days as usual at Manchester United, and I think the first thing that we would want to start right off with is so I know it's not been pretty. It's been dodgy, it's been scrappy, it's not been fun recently, but somehow it's 3 wins on the bounce. The last game that we played, we have just beaten Brighton after struggling against them, mind you, on the weekend. In the League Cup, we have gone and beaten them 3-0. So, I want to get your thoughts about get you guys' thoughts about that. So, you know, Anirudh, do you want to tell me what do you think about that game, buddy?
Oh, I think it's only fair that our guest goes first, huh?
Oh, for sure.
So,
Nisarg, all right. Nisarg, you tell us what do you think, man? You go first.
So I was pretty happy with the result. I was surprised that we won because I thought Brighton would be out for revenge big time. And usually when a team loses like that in the last moment, they're very, very pissed off.
Mhm.
But I saw how Ole set up the team. I saw the goals and I was pretty happy with the way we played. I know both teams played a squad that was not the strongest considering it's a cup match and not a Premier League match.
Mhm.
But I was happy with how it turned out to be. And as long as we progress in a tournament right now, I'm very happy. Considering how things are with the club, our
Mhm.
management and everything,
Right.
progressing in a tournament was the best thing for me.
Definitely, definitely, Nisarg. Anirudh, what do you want to add on to that, man?
he says, considering what's going on, that's like the most apt statement a fan can give
I
right now.
agree.
And you know what? I really liked some of the performance bits. If I must say, I thought one Mata is a fantastic individual, man. He's such a good individual, such a gentleman at heart. The way he plays the game, the way he conducts himself, the chances he gets, he takes them. It was the one Mata show for me. Him coming out, and mind you, it was, as I said, no disrespect to Brighton,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? But
Brighton.
for all the talk of one Mata being slow, one Mata
Hmm.
not able to cope with, the pressures of
Right,
big, clunky players,
right.
class is permanent, man.
I agree.
And, he's too good a player to be left out of the 18. And, you know what?
In the
I don't
league.
care. Just play him in the Prem as a substitute at least. And and I thought we actually played pretty well.
Hmm.
I thought Donny was fantastic again.
That
His
assist,
that
that back,
assist.
that backheel assist. I mean, I know again, people will talk about that, it's just Brighton and it's just Luton and it's just this and it's just that. But you know what, man? It's so toxic at Manchester United right now that I personally enjoy those little moments. And that backheel assist from Donny showed me what quality is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think he that's presence of mind to get that faintest of the touches to make the
Hmm.
ball go on the way he wanted it to go,
Hmm.
and I come back again to Juan Mata and the way he was pulling the strings.
Hmm.
That free kick, man, that free kick in towards McTominay,
Right,
right? Picture perfect free kick. I mean, I
right.
know Bayu would have literally headed McTominay inside goal, but we keep Eric Bailly for another day
Agreed,
because
agreed.
if I go on for the third week running talking about Eric Bailly, I think I'll get hit by a couple of fans on show today. So I'm gonna stay out. So Nisarg, I want to get your thoughts on what you think about Juan Mata's role in the squad is gonna be. Seeing Brighton, seeing the Premier League, and he still has the quality that he has.
So Mata for me is one of the most graceful players I've seen in general in football and at United in the last few years. Every time there are rumors that he's not playing a lot or he's probably going to leave on loan or just being sold because he's not a regular first team player, in my mind I'm like, don't make that mistake, don't let this guy go because he's the one for the keeps. Even if you don't start him every match, you need him. He might not be that impact player. He can be criticized for his defensive, but his touch of the ball, his dribbling attributes, his presence of mind, and his passing abilities are top notch. And when you have players around Mata to work with, you see the
Mhm.
kind of brilliance that you saw that day. And you just need more of that at United regularly. So yeah, he should be in the team is what I feel. At least on the bench. Pretty much every time I could have him, I would have him.
Definitely, definitely, Nisarg. I 100% agree with you, man. I have been one of the biggest Juan Mata fans for the longest of time. You guys know about it. I talk about Juan Mata all the time, and I agree with you, man. I think he's an absolute class act. I mean, we talk about him on the pitch, of course, at Manchester United, and that's a big, big thing for us. But his actions off the pitch as well, with with his foundation and everything. I mean,
The common goal.
exactly, the common goal, right? He's such a class act, man. He's a pure gentleman, class act, and I think he brings that bit of experience. Every time he steps up onto the pitch, I mean, he brings that experience, and players like to listen to a person like Juan Mata, who has won pretty much, who's won a
Everything
lot
there
of.
is to win.
I mean, he's won a lot of major trophies. So I agree with you, gentlemen. I think Juan Mata is is someone that squad really needs going forward. And I would love to see him in that. Coming off the bench, maybe when it gets a little tough, he's definitely someone who can join the team, and he can make that key pass and open up defenses, which is something Manchester United always seems to have a problem with. Um, Moving on from one positive, I would have to say from that Brighton game is we have confidence now. Fans probably don't, but the team looks like it does after 3 wins on the bounce. And with that in mind, we're looking forward to a tasty little clash in the weekend, and it's the North London chicken shites, as I like to call them. It's Tottenham Hotspur who roll up to Old Trafford, and I just want to get you guys' views on Tottenham as a club, because yeah, I'll tell you guys mine. I have some interesting views on Tottenham Hotspur, but Nisa, you tell me, man, what are your views on Tottenham Hotspur? Forget the playing 11, but as a club, what do you think of Tottenham Hotspur?
See, for me, Tottenham Hotspur as a club, since I think the last 6 years, pretty much since Alex Ferguson left, they've always just been the club that is piling on the pressure. And this is still just doing that. They're piling on the pressure. You think they're a threat, and they play impressive football every once in a while, but they're just never really there. There's a difference between a champion and someone who just is a threat to the championship. And
Mhm.
Tottenham is just that. They give you a scare every once in a while, but they're not championship material for me, at least not this season. You
Mhm.
never know, but yeah, for me, Tottenham is not really. I don't know. I'm not worried about Tottenham as well.
Mhm. Anirudh, what do you think, man, of Tottenham Hotspur as a club?
You know, Nisarg always, seems to be striking the right chord to give me the leads on this one. Yeah, for me, Tottenham, White Hart Lane is always going to be the 3 point lane, no matter what you say, right? And if it is 3 point lane, and it's an auto win. I mean,
Mhm.
recent seasons they made it difficult whenever
Mhm.
we played, but we are playing at Old Trafford,
Yep.
right? And the last five fixtures, we won four, and silenced them heavily on one, and they
Yep.
beat one, and they beat one in one of that pretty bad. But that apart, we're playing back home.
Mhm.
Mind you, we lost to Palace.
Mhm.
We want to put that behind us. It's just another game. I
Right.
feel that they don't deserve the hype that they get. I mean, it's a
Right.
good squad with the Bales and the Mourinho's and whatnot,
Mhm.
right? But at the end of the day, Tottenham Hotspur, not the biggest club in London, not the biggest, and they claim that they're bigger than Arsenal, which they aren't.
Nope.
They claim they're bigger than which other London clubs do I
Chelsea.
want it? They're not.
Chelsea. They're
The
not.
the West Ham, I don't,
Probably
probably
close enough in it.
probably close enough. Fulham probably. So you see where we're going. So my opinion is not going to change. I mean, I have respect for the team. I have respect for every team that plays
Mhm.
against United, right?
Mhm.
Except for a few which I don't want to
Let's
name
not go
on the
into
show.
that today,
I
man.
don't want to name, but Tottenham, no man. I mean, for all the club talk of a big club, a huge club, a championship club,
Right,
I mean Champions League club, and all of
right.
that,
Nah,
you come to Old Trafford, you get beaten, and you go back home crying. That's
right,
that's that's how we treat, such a
right.
club. And Sanil, I don't want to touch upon what you call them, but I want to hear your thoughts as well.
So here's my thing about Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, I grew up watching football, right? Like we all did. I have never heard the term top six in my life. What the hell is top six? Why the hell is Tottenham Hotspur, in the category of a big club when you're talking about your Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea? Tottenham Hotspur, in my opinion, are nobodies. They are chicken shites. That's what I call them. They are chicken shite. Man, look at their logo. Dude. Okay, look at the logos of the big club. Yeah, Chelsea. They have their blue lion, right? Liverpool, of course, their bird, the liver bird, which is magnificent.
Phoenix,
Yeah, the Phoenix, right? It's magnificent. You have Arsenal with a cannon. You have Man United, the Red Devil. And then people try to bring a club like Tottenham into this discussion, who have a chicken. They have a chicken balancing on a beach ball. You kidding me? You kidding me? This is a big club. No way. Not having it. Not having one bit of it. I mean, I know Nisarg said that they're like a threat every once in a while and they try to give you that little scare. I ain't having it. I ain't having it. Sir Alex said it, and we reference Sir Alex a lot because for us, I mean, he is the
the Godman.
godfather. He's the godfather in it, but I remember Roy Keane said it that there was once in a pre-match, Sir Alex Ferguson just walked in, did not say a word to the boys, and all he said was, "It's
Lads,
Tottenham lads,
Tottenham.
it's
It's
Tottenham
Tottenham,
lads,"
lads,
and
lads.
that's it. And till date, I think that is one of the best pre-match talks I've ever heard because that's how insignificant, minuscule, tiny, and irrelevant Tottenham Hotspur is. That is how shit Tottenham Hotspur is. And that is my view on Tottenham Hotspur as a club.
Wow, that was pretty, that was pretty no holds barred, we must say. I mean, to be honest with you, right? Tottenham Hotspur have given a really good account of themselves over the past few seasons, as Nisar rightly mentioned, right? To get to a
Mm-hmm.
Champions League final, it's no fluke.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of effort from the players, a lot of stars coming through.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Ericssons, you still have
Mm-hmm.
the Harry Kanes and
Mm-hmm.
everybody, but we are talking about Old Trafford, man. We're
It ain't
talking
happening.
about the Theatre of Dreams, best stadium in the world.
It's it,
You know, it's not gonna happen.
it
At
just
the
ain't
end of the
happening.
day, you come from 3 point lane
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you go stay in your lane.
Yeah, they talk about being the biggest club in London. You're not the biggest club in London. You're not the biggest club in North London, right? You're nobody. I mean, Nisar, let me ask you one question, man, since you're the guest here. In Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, right? 7 years. How many trophies have Tottenham Hotspur won?
Can you think of any? I mean,
Zero,
Absolute
zero,
zero.
zero.
No,
Yeah,
zero, nil, nothing. Right? We talk about that being Manchester United's worst period, right? In at least in our lifetimes. How many
yeah.
trophies did we win? We won the League Cup, won the FA Cup, won the
Europa
Europa
League.
League. So you're talking about a club who could not even. I mean, Tottenham Hotspur. The way I sum up Tottenham Hotspur is
The best period is worse than our worst period, man.
no, no, no. Forget about comparing to Man United. They're not even worth comparing to Man United. The best way I can describe Tottenham Hotspur is Tottenham Hotspur is the club who finishes third in a two-horse race.
Looks like,
Aptly put.
I mean, but the year Leicester won the league, right? I mean, it was
yeah,
Leicester and Tottenham, right?
yeah, they had
They
a chance to
bottled
win.
it. No, they bottled it. Arsenal finished second. It's as simple as that. They're bottle jobs, man. They're bottle jobs. I cannot stand Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, I cannot stand the talk of Tottenham Hotspur being called a big club. They're nobody. I think they're insignificant,
You
minuscule.
know, honestly, Sanil, I want to put across this point where Nisarg put I want to reference our guest here who I'm bringing him up time and again because he rightly mentioned they've been putting up good performances once in a while,
Right.
but the performance that they put when they put it's they play pretty attractive football and they play pretty good football, right?
Mhm.
I mean, if you gotta beat someone, two, three, four, five, you gotta be pretty good, and they have good players,
Mhm.
right? And I want to segue from that to
Mhm.
talking about the players. So let's start with our guest here. So Nisarg, who do you think is gonna be extremely impactful when it comes to the United Tottenham game from a Tottenham perspective?
Mhm.
Who do you think who should we fear? I mean, it's Tottenham, guys. We're not supposed to fear anyone,
Right.
given how we're projecting things. But yeah, with all due respect to the opposition, never disrespect an opposition for who they are.
Mhm.
Who do you think is gonna be the key component in Tottenham's war machine?
See, for me, the biggest threat in a team like Tottenham is Harry Kane. And that happens to me because he's a poacher. He's not your regular striker who's just good at, being a number nine. There are very few intelligent strikers in the world who are just bang on in intuitive moments. And Harry Kane is one of them. From a one season wonder at one point of time, he became a consistent striker. So he's that one person that I'm worried about who can, surprisingly score when you don't expect him to. So apart from Harry Kane, I don't see a individual threat. That just depends on how Tottenham plays on the day. But yeah, for me, Harry Kane would be the one player that I would look out for, and I would hope that we have someone in our defense or at least in the central defensive midfield on him because he's a very good player.
A really valid point, Nisar, talking about Harry Kane and how lethal and devastating he is in front of goal. So, Sanil, I will come to you to ask you who you think is going to be the most dangerous person for Tottenham when they face us at Old Trafford.
Anirudh, it's an interesting one because for me, the way I look at it is, of course, Harry Kane is their striker. He's the one who gets the goals in the big games, but he has an iffy record against Manchester United, especially at Old Trafford. In my opinion, the one who I personally am most worried about is Matt Doherty. And the reason I mentioned Matt Doherty is because from right back, we have seen at Wolves over a last few seasons that Matt Doherty has an excellent cross on him. He can whip in some really good balls, and just the prospect of him going up against our left back and putting in great crosses. And mind you, I'm considering Lindelof's. I mean, I'm this is assuming that let's not even get into that. But if Lindelof starts and Kane is the center forward, if Matt Doherty puts that ball on the money, which he does more often than not, I mean, I see Harry Kane creating a scrap and they're getting on the end of those, heading those in. So, in my opinion, the player to highlight the most at Tottenham, who could be a risk, is Matt Doherty from right back, just because of the attacking input that he provides to Tottenham, to Tottenham Hotspur. What do you think, Anirudh? Who do you think is the most dangerous one?
Sanil, you make a really good point about Matt Doherty. People talk about, offense wins you games, but the great man said defense wins you trophies, right? Nobody cares about what a defender does, but you're right about Matt Doherty, and I really think that Tottenham's fullbacks offer considerable, you know,
Hmm.
have considerable qualities that they can change the game at any point in time. But
Hmm.
you know, Doherty one side for me, I think it's going to be Lucas Moura because he scored against us in the
Hmm.
past. So who's to
Hmm.
say he won't do it again? I mean, he shouldn't, right?
Hmm.
But Lucas Moura against United, he's a tough nut to crack, when it comes to this game. So I think given the service and how they play, and if
Hmm.
mind you, Heung-min Son misses out, it's all the
Hmm.
more that Lucas Moura plays
Hmm.
and he plays, the full 90 mostly. So
Hmm.
I really think that we should take Lucas Moura into account when it comes to a dangerous player for Tottenham.
Hmm.
But as you said, gentlemen, you can't discount a Harry Kane or you can't discount a Matt Doherty either. No, no chance, because one good cross and one good header, who's to say Tottenham won't go one up against us?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but it all depends on how Jose sets up the team. Speaking of whom, right? I really don't know what to say about Jose Mourinho, man. Guy's a serial winner. He managed us. He's come out and told today, I have no enemies here. I know he means good. Watched all his documentaries. A real gentleman. He's an awesome guy. But again, I can't iterate with 100 different buts, but he is a rival manager and he managed Tottenham Hotspur, right? Even if he brings, the Bales and even if he brings the best unit, I would still say no. You're a Tottenham manager, man. You come to Old Trafford to lose. But he's playing against this United team, master tactician. I don't know, man. I'm optimistic, so I really hope that Ole can pull up something out of the pull the rabbit out of the hat. So and yeah, that's my view. No,
I mean, Anirudh, what you said there makes a lot of sense, man. My personal, Nisa, actually, why don't you tell me, what do you think of Jose, man? What do you think of Jose Mourinho as a manager, as a tactician, as a visiting manager at Old Trafford once again?
See, for me, Jose is still one of the better managers in the world right now. And him visiting Old Trafford after the kind of spell he had at a club is just a very interesting prospect for me. But he is managing Tottenham, and I'll admit that I was a tad bit worried the first time round we had a clash with Tottenham after Jose started managing them. But I think we handled it really, really well. And what I believe is that Ole has a knack for, just knowing that what Jose is about to do. It's a predictions game. It's a gut feeling for both of them. And I think Jose will set up a strong team, but I'm not really worried because I think we know how to handle them. So yeah, he's a masterful tactician and he will play counter-attacking football, which is why I'm worried about them just being extremely quick with your Lucas Moras and your Harry Kanes and everyone from right back who can, just be a massive threat. But I think we have a knack of being able to handle Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, that's very interesting, man, because I mean, I look at Jose Mourinho and it's interesting because I was one of the few Manchester United fans who was basically on my knees for the longest of time with the whole Pogba Mourinho spat. I was totally on Mourinho's side. But keeping all that aside, that was a tough time. I Jose Mourinho, in my opinion, will go down as one of the greatest football managers the game has seen. A masterful tactician. I mean, his resume speaks for himself, right? What he's won, what he's done. He's an absolute genius. And it's rightly like both of you mentioned. I mean, we associate Jose Mourinho with that particular performance at a top at the away ground of a top club is to defend and counter. That's the style we associate Jose to. And you know what, man, it's interesting because I love Jose Mourinho and I think he's going to come at Old Trafford with the same tactics. Of course, he has no personal vendetta against the fans or against the players for that matter, keeping Paul Pogba, maybe Luke Shaw and Martial aside. But definitely see him having a big spat with that board, which, by the way, he was right about. Nobody can deny that. He was totally right about that. Um, he's been branded as one of the villains in football. I personally don't see it that way, man. I think I love Jose Mourinho, and I think he's going to set up as we all expect him to, sitting deep, looking to attack on the counter. And it's going to come down to how well we can do on the ball because it's going to be tough to break down that Tottenham unit. It's again a Jose unit, but Here's something I want to throw to you guys before we move on to the next big section. We of course we will do our usual lineup predictions and our score predictions, but I want you guys to remember that Tottenham Hotspur actually played last weekend in the Premier League. On Tuesday, they have played in the League Cup against Chelsea, a game which went on for 90 minutes and into penalties. And on Thursday, they have played a Europa
Europa.
League, a Europa League qualifier, for which again Harry Kane, as well as their A team, was present and playing. So considering that factor, you guys, again, Nisarg, I want to start off with you. What keeping that in mind, what 11 does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer opt for, in your opinion? Considering the contesting points that have been there in that 11 for Manchester United.
So for me, we'll start with goal, and De Gea starts in goal. I saw Dean
Mm-hmm.
Henderson's cup performance. He's very impressive. But in a
Mm-hmm.
situation like this, I want to go with a man I know I can trust. He's brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
and De Gea starts in goal. For me, the
Mm-hmm.
back four would be Van Bissaka. I would start with Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire, and Luke Shaw. And my midfield now central defensively. I think on the off chance you might see Donny van de Beek, but again here I need a smart player who can keep sweeping from left to right and up and down the pitch. So I will go with Matic, and he took a
Mm-hmm.
rest in the last, so I would go with Matic for this one. He's a senior player, very
Mm-hmm.
experienced. And as we move forward, I see my Bruno Fernandes, I see a Paul Pogba, I see a Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Rashford, I see a Mason Greenwood, and I see a Tony Martial.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope this is the playing 11 that we go with. This is a strong team. It has worked in the past. They have good
Mm-hmm.
rhythm amongst themselves. And yeah, let's see how it goes.
That sounds awesome, man. And there are a couple of players you mentioned in there that Anirudh and I have had vast discussions about in the past few weeks. And just a quick word, Nisarg. Eric Bayo, Victor Lindelof. So, what do you think about that particular selection, and why would you go with Eric Bailly over Victor Lindelof?
See, I honestly like both of the defenders. I have nothing against Lindelof. I know he's been a little sloppy in the last few matches, but last
Mm-hmm.
season particularly he was quite impressive. And I actually, on the off chance that I think about it, I have to thank Jose Mourinho to bring Lindelof to Manchester United. He was right about the player selection in that category. But I would go with Eric Bailly because I think
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bailly is actually the best centre back that we have. I think he's better than Harry Maguire as well. The only
Mm-hmm.
problem that he has is that he's very injury prone and he's a little reckless and careless at times with his tackles and just with his presence of mind. But I think his defensive abilities, his
Mm-hmm.
tactical skills, his physical strength, and his height. I think,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, to counter someone like Harry Kane, if he's
Mm-hmm.
fully there mentally and physically, with his defensive attributes, I think I would want Eric
Mm-hmm.
Bailly to play. And I think for this match, Eric Bailly over Lindelof.
That sounds awesome. So again, like I said, we've spoken a lot about Eric Bai, and Anirudh has vouched for Eric Bai for the past few weeks. So Anirudh, moving on to you, man. What do you think playing 11?
You should talk about 10+1 because I've put it's like by auto walks into my team. So it's kind of De Gea in goal. Although yeah, Dean Henderson has to fight for his place. So the next cup game when it's FA Cup,
Mm-hmm.
or the Capital One, Dean plays. But I'll go with the back four of Van Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Eric Bailly. I want to go with Brandon Williams this game. I know he
Mm-hmm.
it's highly there's very little chance that Brandon Williams starts that game considering Luke Shaw and he's the regular and he plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, Brandon Williams was really good against Brighton
Mm-hmm.
in midweek, and I think we can give him
Mm-hmm.
a go. Guy has had a lot of matches under his belt, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my I'm going to change. This I'm going to tweak it a little bit this game. I really think that Matic plays, but Donny Van de Beek starts this game. Brave call.
Interesting.
I'm no pundit. I'm no Ole. I don't know what he's thinking, but this is just me talking out of my own imagination. But I really want Donny Van de Beek to start this game
Mm-hmm.
because his movement, right? His movement,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just too intelligent for
Mm-hmm.
Tottenham's holding midfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Donny Van de Beek will run circles around Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And
So who do you drop for Donny Van de Beek? Because that's the big question, right? Because we talk about, I mean, a lot of people have spoken about Paul Pogba being the one who should give way for Donny, but then I mean, although it was a deflection and I don't know a lot of different things, Pogba did get onto the score sheet against Brighton in the cup. So I mean, do you drop Pogba? Do you drop Bruno? Or do you change the formation around to accommodate all four of them in midfield at that point?
uh, I'll tell you what, Sanil. Honestly speaking, I would go with, uh, because they're gonna run at us and run at us big
Mm-hmm.
time. So I want Matic there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know as in Matic is slow, right? Age is
Mm-hmm.
catching up with him, but on his day, he's fantastic. And
Right, agree.
he's. I also remember Jose Mourinho telling him, Matic is the one player I can go to at any point during the day,
Right, agreed.
right?
Jose loves him, right?
Jose loves Matic,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he got him to United from
Right.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
right? And I think again, I go back to what our guest said about Matic, sweeping left,
Mm-hmm.
right, up, down, you need that guy. And I think
Right.
Bruno gives way, man. I think he's been fatigued since 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 the start of since the time he came. He's
Mm-hmm.
been playing on and on and on. I mean, I don't say he's completely fatigued, but he's been playing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that just give the man a rest, give fresh blood, give Donny a go, man. Who's to say
Mm-hmm.
that Donny won't combine with Anthony Martial or a Marcus Rashford to get us the goal
Mm-hmm.
during the weekend? So yeah, 9, 10, 11, Donny Van de Beek,
Mm-hmm.
Paul Pogba, Matic, Brandon Williams. I make all these
Mm-hmm.
weird choices though, but I take the hit. It's fine. if that
It's not
means
about
that our team.
it definitely not about taking the hit, man. I totally understand where you're coming from, and it's interesting. Donny Van de Beek has been a big talking point, and of course, Eric Bailly, like Nisarg mentioned, we all want to see Eric Bailly back and playing at the Premier League, and it is a pretty the fans. There's a big percentage of fans who do share the opinion that he is arguably, when 100% fit, even better than Harry Maguire in our squad at least.
Without a doubt.
I mean,
Without a
you
doubt.
know, keeping that in mind, I my playing 11 would basically, again, I agree with both of you. The general consensus: De Gea starts in goal. He's our number one. No need to replace him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back again. You know, easy choice. I think Eric Bailly. I want to see Eric Bailly, man. That's the thing. It's like it's one of those, right? I want to see Eric Bailly because I know that guy. See, Tottenham are going to play on the counter. We need some pace in that centre back position. And we know Harry Maguire does not have the pace. He's good in the air, which is where he can counter Harry Kane possibly. But when those inverted runs come in from the wingers of Tottenham, when they run narrow, like we have seen them running from the wing more centrally, I think having Eric Bailly there would be an important choice because we need him. We need his pace and his physical attributes. Um, of course, Harry Maguire next to him. I think, despite I love Brandon Williams, of course, academy kid, this and that, but I think Ollie trusts Luke Shaw too much, so he'll go with Luke Shaw. Midfield's the one where the questions comes in, and you know what, Anirudh, I agree with you, man. I think Donny has to start because he has now he put in a good performance in the cup against Luton. Of course, it was just Luton. A good performance against Brighton now, just Brighton, but still pretty
And he
good
scored
performance.
against Palace.
He scored against Palace, of course, off the bench, and even the Brighton League game, the final corner that we did get was won by Donny. But here's the thing: I would not drop Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes is key to that team because without Bruno Fernandes, we lose all fluidity. In my opinion, we go with the midfield three of Nemanja Matic, Donny van de Beek, and Bruno Fernandes. I think Paul Pogba drops to the bench, and it's one of those, right? It's an interesting one, but I personally think Paul Pogba drops should be dropped to the bench just a little bit because you saw he is an impact player off the bench, but he still seems a little fatigued. And considering the international break is coming up after this game, I think Bruno should be good to go. He didn't play midweek as well. So I think I would personally start Bruno, Tony, and Matic in midfield. Going into the attack, Marcus Rashford off the left, Anthony Martial up top. Right wing's the one where it's interesting because Tottenham do like to attack with their left back coming forward. Irrespectively if it's Reguilon who starts, then he's a very attack-minded player. And even if it is Ben Davis who
Ben
starts,
Davis.
yeah, Ben Davis does bring an attacking component to the Tottenham team, and just to push their fullbacks that 5 yards back, and this could possibly be a controversial one, but I would personally start Daniel James on that right wing because I I think that his pace is something that can be a worry to that Tottenham defense. That is something that Tottenham wouldn't like, and I think that could push their fullbacks back a little bit. So considering that, I would personally go with Daniel James on that right wing, and that would be my playing 11. Of course, I have Pogba and Mason come off the bench. So yeah, that's my playing 11, guys. And keeping all that in mind, I think the final segment that we always like to go into is our scoreline predictions for the big game. Well, not really a big game. It's Tottenham, but relatively speaking, a fairly big game. So I'm going to start off with you, Nisarg. Who do you think what is your prediction in terms of the scoreline and scorers for this game?
My scoreline prediction is a 2-all draw, and on the off chance we win a 3-2. My
Mhm.
scorers for the game from our end would, I think, be Marcus Rashford,
Mhm.
maybe Donny van de Beek, and I would like to see Mason Greenwood get on the score sheet
Mhm.
sooner this season. So these three would be my people to score. And from Tottenham, like I told you, for me it's Harry Kane that I have to be worried about. And I don't know whoever else comes up. But yeah,
Harry Kane, isn't it? That guy, always a worry, always a big worry, man. England captain. The guy's dangerous, but that's the one thing Tottenham fans sing about it all the time. Harry Kane, one of our own. He's not one of your own. I wish Tottenham fans actually learned Harry Kane's history. He's he's an undercover Arsenal fan, isn't it? Undercover gooner. So he's not one of your own, Tottenham. He was seen at the Arsenal rally. So please allow it. Not one of your own. Not like Marcus Rashford's one of ours. So Anirudh, man, you tell me what's your score prediction going into this Tottenham game?
I'll take a 1-0, honestly. Even a 1-0 confidence boost, go to the international break, rest, come back. For the last three outings against Tottenham,
Hmm.
it's been 1-1, 2-1, and 1-0. So it's all
Hmm.
been like, a goal to the good or a 1-all draw or something like that. So I think,
Hmm.
I would take a 1-0 at Old Trafford. Tell Jose thank you so much for coming. We'll see you back in your place in 3 point lane later on. But we want to take the W, man. And yeah, I want a clean goal this time. A good goal. Marcus Rashford's brilliance and all of that. But always been talking about all this team kicking on. We
Hmm.
building up to everything. So yeah, I want a 1-0 win. I want Anthony to start scoring, man. Anthony Martial.
Anthony, yeah, he hasn't scored this season yet, isn't it?
Yeah, and Tony to score 1-0. And Sanil,
All right.
last but not least, what about you?
Man, so I've been going, if you've been following the podcast, I've been going with a 2-1 for the past three games. But you know what? I look at tomorrow, I look at the circumstances, Tottenham fatigued and, not at their best. I hope the washrooms at Old Trafford are ready in case Eric Dyer needs to run for a quick one in it. But mid game sprint for a big shit in it. But no, I personally going into this game. I'm confident, guys. Like, not, I understand the atmosphere is here and there, but I am really confident going into this Tottenham game. And I'm going for a bold prediction here. I'm going for Manchester United to keep a clean sheet. I think Eric Bailly starts. Ollie's been talking about him enough. He's had enough time to build up his match fitness. I think Eric Bailly starts, and I'm going with a solid, dominant 2-0 win for Manchester United. Not one of those 2-0s that you just edge and the scoreline makes it look fancy, but really a dominant performance. And I personally think that our midfield is what's key in this game, because if we can overrun their midfield, I think that is where the trick lies. And in terms of the goal scorers, I think Marcus Rashford gets on the score sheet again. He has scored two in the last three. He's looking good. He's looking sharp again. He's looking like he's getting his form back. I think Marcus Rashford gets on the score sheet. And, apart from Marcus Rashford, I do personally believe that Bruno Fernandes will get on the score sheet just because, Jose has been talking a little, he's been having some words about Bruno Fernandes. Ever since he's come, he's like, oh, he's a penalty merchant, and he takes penalties, and that's all he scores. United give him opportunities for penalties. I see it. I see Bruno Fernandes getting on the score sheet as well. So I will go for a 2-0 to Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford on the score sheet, and a clean sheet with Eric Bailly starting in defense. So that's my prediction, guys. I'm going positive.
Absolutely, Sanil. Bold predictions there, huh? So we just have to wait and watch how
Yeah,
things unfold
I just have,
against Tottenham.
and I agree, man. And just before we finish off this episode, I just have one thing to say about Tottenham Hotspur. All Tottenham Hotspur players, every single one of that players and squad, and have been seen coughing recently. Do you guys know about that? Do you know why that
Beats
has been
me.
the case, guys?
Beats me. I don't know.
I heard they opened up the trophy cabinet for a bit of cleaning in it. All the dust came out, and those they could not take it anymore.
Ah, the old jibes. The old jibes are
The old,
back.
of course, mate. They're a small club, they're a tiny club, they're chicken shits, and we're gonna beat them. Come on, United. I am pumped. Let's go. Let's beat
Come
them.
on, United.
Excited. Come on, United. Very excited
Also,
for the game.
quick shout out to our friend Nisarg here, our first ever guest on the SnA podcast. So thank you so much for joining us, Nisarg, today. It's been a pleasure to have you, and we hope that you can join us on many more episodes of the SnA talk for of the 3 a.m. football fans. So
Thank you so much, guys, and it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Sanil and Anirudh. And yeah, hope to be on many more episodes in the future.
Sanil, hit the come on United, you know,
Come
hit
on,
again.
United. We got it.
Come on
Let's do it.
United.
Come on, United.